Looking to learn life lessons without going through the experience? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Hidden Struggles with your host, Lady C.
Hey, this is Lady C. Welcome to another episode of Hidden Struggles. And in this upcoming episode, I'm going to be turning your attention to forecasting. And if you've never heard of forecasting, I need y'all to stick around so that you can find out exactly what I'm going to be talking about, because this has to do with you and your future. All right, so let's get started. Okay, when you think about forecasting, you think about a term that people talk about when you're looking at the weather. So, the weatherman, he's forecasting what's going to happen with the weather, and everybody knows all about that. And then, of course, there's other types of forecasting that people do in their lives, and that forecasting is all about business, okay? So a business is trying to forecast how many people do we need to hire, what kind of products and services are we going to be offering, all that jazz, right? So now let's break it down to us in our personal lives. How are we forecasting? And not only that, but who are we choosing to do the forecasting for us?
So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days.
But now, when I left the Watchtower, I realized that they had put us in a trick. We had given over our lives to them, and we allowed them to do all of our forecasting. And when I say all of our forecasting, I mean we just never looked at life and thought about what we needed to be doing in our own families. You are the only person that knows your circumstances. So when you're looking at a one-size-fits-all situation, the way the Watchtower tries to cookie cut everybody in the organization, they want to let everybody know that.
So can you pioneer next month? No doubt you will experience greater joy.
They forecast everything from the time you get up to the time you go to bed at night, and they make you feel guilty about the choices that you don't make that they're recommending.
Money. No. Wealth. Proverbs 23:4-5. Do not wear yourself out to gain wealth. Stop and show understanding. When you cast your eyes on it, it is not there. For it will surely sprout wings like an eagle and fly off into the sky.
And this is what we've been living all of our lives, not realizing that we had choices, And that's why you get people telling you that, hey, look, no one told you that you had to do that. But then again, we know what happens in the congregation when recommendations are made by the organization, people don't follow them, and then they got that little carrot that they dangle in front of your face about paradise. Everybody wants to get there, and it becomes one of those things where everybody's jumping up, trying to throw their mama under the bus, under the train, all that kind of stuff, because they want to get into paradise. In fact, there was this one Jehovah's Witness, had to be a witness, that made a comment on one of my YouTube videos recently. And I'm just going to read the last line of what he said, because all the other stuff literally made no sense to me. But basically, he was saying, hey, all I know is I want to get into paradise. Okay, so he has just thrown all reasoning, all thought processes out the window, because the Watchtower has sold him week number 53 in a timeshare. That's what my husband always says. He always talks about there's 52 weeks in a year, but the Watchtower sold you week number 53, and you believe it, and you think that you're going to be there shortly.
That we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days.
And so you just everything, all your thought processes, all your sanity, all of your common sense is just thrown out the window. And so But we got to really think about what we're doing. So what I'm going to do in this video real quick is just kind of share with you on a Trello board. Now, what is a Trello board? A Trello board is the way I manage my projects. I use a Trello board to plan and to, all of my projects so that when I'm getting ready to work on different things, I can know how to move things around. I can forecast what needs to come first, last, whatever it is, and however I'm managing the project. This could be done under anything. You could do this in planning your education, from planning your vacation, okay? A Trello board is good for everything, anything. And it's also good for collaboration because a lot of times you may be working on a project that requires multiple people. The Trello board will help you do just that, okay? It'll allow you to collaborate with other people. And so on this board that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to go ahead and share that right now. And what I want to do is just kind of talk about the forecasting that the Watchtower has done for Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, what they're doing here is they're saying, hey, look, the rank and file, this is the name of the Trello board that I'm calling it the rank and file. And basically in the first column, my board there, on my board, there's a list. I got 3 lists. So here in this board, I got 3 lists. And one of the lists is called Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, it can be called anything you want it to be called. And it's showing you 3 main things that the Watchtower has forecasted for Jehovah's Witnesses. One of them is meeting attendance. The second one, field service. The third one is to keep up with reading the Watchtower publications. So when you look at the forecast that they gave you, I mean, those main 3 items are all you hear when you go to the meeting. That's the basic, drum beat that you're going to get. And that's going to be your life for the rest of your life as long as you're living on this planet. These are going to be the things that they're going to be forecasting for you. Okay? Now, in the second list is education. Now, when you take a look at the items that I've compiled in this list, they all come right out of Watchtower Publications. And basically, the first one that you see is Pioneer Service School. And that means that, hey, look, I'm going to go over to the third column where the employment is. And you're going to notice that regular Pioneer is one of the jobs that they're recommending for Jehovah's Witnesses. And I used to hate going to the conventions every year because that was one of the biggest things that they preached. In fact, the year that I was graduating, I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was, but I really wasn't thinking about regular pioneering as a career. And so I would get so frustrated every time I would hear them saying, and this is the best career choice, right? And so the education for a regular pioneer, hey, look, they even have a school for you. So if you become a regular pioneer, the education is going to be going to a school, okay? And then, of course, all the other education that they have here listed in the second column here, or the second list, is all related to the Watchtower. So there's nothing about being a doctor, a lawyer, or maybe I want to be a musician, or maybe I want to go and be an actress or a whatever, a pilot, airline pilot, whatever I want to be. None of that is on that list. Because let me tell you right now, you will never go to the Kingdom Hall and have any of those jobs listed as an option or an opportunity that you should be seeking for education. Now, one of the things that they will do, though, is they will send out a private letter to the elder body when they're looking for attorneys. And they'll say, don't make this announcement to the friends, but if you know someone in the congregation that happens to be an attorney and they want to come and do some volunteer work up here at Bethel or any of our other branches, we're willing to bring them on board. But guess what? For free. Okay? So they're looking for free labor. They're not getting ready to pay you your 6-figure salary that you would get outside the organization. They're looking for you to come up there and work for free. Okay? So this is the forecasting that you see on this Trello board. Okay? And then, of course, the other items in the third list of employment window washer, janitor, housekeeper, and all these kind of things. And of course, the last two in that list is a free laborer at any Bethel branch around the world and volunteer construction worker for the Watchtower. So when you see it on paper, it really comes alive. You know, it's like, where's your livelihood? Like, what are you going to do about your life? You know, only you know your circumstances. Only you know what you need to survive in this world. Only you know the things that you and your family are going to need for a future date, like maybe retirement. You know, you're getting older in this system. Well, while the Watchtower is forecasting and telling you that you don't need to save for the future,
that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days.
because of course, this world is going out of business. You don't need to get a good job, a good paying job, because you don't need that, right? And so they're constantly forecasting, giving you this forecast that's telling you, hey, look, it's not raining outside, so you don't need an umbrella. That's mainly what this is, you know, because if it's raining, you have to prepare for the rain, okay? Forecasting. So in a Jehovah's Witness's life, what would raining constitute? Well, raining would constitute getting older, getting sick, you know, not having any children to help you when you are in these situations, not having enough money to survive into old age, not having a place to stay. It's raining, but I don't have an umbrella. Well, the Watchtower told you that you didn't need one, okay? So these are the kind of things that you have to think about when it comes to forecasting. So I think that you should put another list together right next to the three lists that I have here with the Watchtower, and you need to begin to put together things that's going to help you thrive and survive in the world that we live in, because there's no way that you can make it on this forecast that the Watchtower has put out here for you. Okay? Now, let's just take a little bit of a turn, and let's go look at the Watchtower's Trello board. Now, I may not have every single thing in this Trello board that I need to have here, but you'll get my point. You will understand my point, because the Watchtower's Trello board looks way different than the one they give us, okay? They've got like construction projects, they've got organizational procedures, they got the planned giving. Now, the reason why I put the organizational procedures on their Trello board is because in order for this religion to continue to thrive without these organizational procedures, they would basically fall flat on their face. And so let's start with the one in the center first. They got to protect those pedophiles, make sure that they don't, get found out, because, of course, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they tout themselves as the best people going. This is the best religion. Jehovah is here with the witnesses. This is the only true religion, and certainly they cannot and certainly do not have pedophiles. Of course, and we know that's not true, and that's the reason why they're looking to recruit more lawyers, right? Okay? And then, of course, they got to put those shunning policies in place, because for anyone that wakes up and decides that they don't want this religion anymore, or they don't want the Watchtower forecasting their future, they're out of there. But they got to shun you now, because they don't want you spreading that to the other members in the organization. Okay, let's head on back over to column 1 to list 1. And one of the things that they have going on now is the Ramapo project. And take a listen to how long this project is expected to take.
We are beginning our discussions with the local authorities on this project. And Jehovah willing, we hope to start site work in 2022 and have a completed facility by December 31st, 2026.
Now, even though that video talked about it started in 2022, because according to the man in the video, this project is going to be ongoing until 2026. Now, when you think about that, isn't that interesting? How when you think about this project is only going to be going on to 2026, think about the number of kids or youngsters that were graduating from high school. And they could have had their degree by the time the Watchtower's construction project was over. So just think about it. Think about how they're forecasting their life and all the projects that they got going on. Think about how the Watchtower is actually in a situation where they have a future date when a project is going to be done with. And then all of a sudden, they're like saying, don't try this at home. Have you heard that saying? Oh, don't try this at home. You can watch us do all the things you want to, but don't you do it. Don't you try this at home. Okay, now, what is the Ramapo project? The Ramapo project is none other than this big construction project where the Watchtower is erecting a Hollywood studio where they're going to have you as their captive audience, where you're going to continue to get more Watchtower propaganda, and they're going to continue to forecast and tell you how you should stick to your Trello board while they're out here enjoying their lives, flying around first class around the world, enjoying all of the things that you're helping them to accomplish. Okay? So now, and then of course they've got the Argentina Bethel construction project they finished, and the new facilities in Italy and all of that kind of stuff. Okay? And then of course the planned giving that they have, the planned giving they've got where they take your bank accounts, your insurance and retirement plans, real estate, stocks and bonds, and your wills and trusts. They have a lot planned for themselves, but they have very, very little opportunities for you. So when you think about all the things that I've talked about in this presentation, I just want you to think about how you need to think about taking over your own forecasting, because you're the only one that knows your circumstances. And I hope that you've got some good ideas and how you can make that happen. And I'll see you on the next one. This has been Lady C, and I thank you for being in my audience.
Thanks so much for listening to Hidden Struggles with your host, Lady C. This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers, online at hiddenstruggle.com. Feel free to send an email to info@hiddenstruggle.com, and we'll catch you next time on Hidden Struggles. The views and opinions of our guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Critical Thinkers.